He's three law firms on retainer. I don't know how much money is coming in, but I know that a lot of money is going out every single month for Diddy.
A corner defendant is attempting to pull one of music's most powerful figures into a courtroom confrontation that could unravel 30 years of unanswered questions. For decades, the industry assumed Sean Combs had managed to keep himself clear of the shadow cast by hip-hop's most notorious unsolved murder. That assumption is now under serious threat, as attorneys for Duane, Keefe D, Davis pursue a legal strategy that could compel the incarcerated mogul to take the witness stand in the upcoming Tupac Shakur homicide trial, where every word he speaks carries potentially catastrophic consequences. Davis, who faces life in prison for his alleged role in the 1996 killing, has claimed that the Bad Boy Records founder offered a $1 million bounty to have the West Coast legend eliminated, a claim he reportedly made on law enforcement recordings that his own defense team now argues were fabricated performances designed to boost his public profile. The contradiction at the heart of this strategy is staggering. The accused is essentially betting that the man he named as a co-conspirator will publicly discredit him on the stand. And in doing
He's saying that, Diddy, he put a hit out on you and Tupac, and that's the reason why Tupac got in Vegas. So, yeah, man. How you feel about that?
Well, first thing first. I mean, that conversation been out there. He put his truth out there. A lot of other people put their truth out there.
So, hand the jury a reason for doubt. The grim irony is that if Combs takes the oath and denies ever offering that bounty, he may inadvertently provide Davis with the very lifeline his defense needs. The full weight of that legal trap has yet to close, but the countdown has begun. The courtroom strategy taking shape in Clark County operates on a level of cold, calculated precision that transforms standard legal procedure into a weapon, one aimed squarely at the federal detention facility where Sean Combs currently resides. Duane Keefe D. Davis is not standing before the court to proclaim his innocence. He is standing there to detonate a carefully constructed bomb, and he is daring everyone in that room to step back from a blast radius. His attorney, Michael Pandullo, is not simply defending a client. He is methodically dismantling the prosecution's own logic and forcing them to confront the monster lurking inside their evidence. The argument is almost elegant in its brutality. If the state genuinely believes Davis is telling the truth about his participation in the 1996 Las Vegas shooting, then intellectual honesty demands.
The reason we asked everyone to be here today is obviously we are the new attorneys for Duane Davis in the Tupac case, now set for trial February of next year. The reason in particular that we asked the media to be here is that, obviously we're not trying the case in the media, but we want to establish better relations with them.
As they pursue the man Davis insists gave the order. Their refusal to charge Combs does not go unnoticed, and it does not go unexploited. That prosecutorial hesitation becomes Davis's most powerful exhibit. By declining to pursue the alleged architect of the conspiracy, the district attorney's office has inadvertently gifted the defense a compelling question to plant in every juror's mind. If the man who supposedly bankrolled the murder isn't sitting at the defendant's table, does that man truly exist? Davis has constructed a trap using the state's own inaction as its foundation, positioning himself not as a killer seeking escape, but as a foot soldier abandoned by a commanding officer powerful enough to remain permanently beyond reach. The courtroom strategy taking shape in Clark County operates on a level of cold, calculated precision that transforms standard legal procedure into a weapon aimed squarely at the federal detention facility, where Sean Combs currently.
I think that they don't want, if they was in any of those freak-off tapes, if they played a part in any of those Diddy sessions, they don't want it to get out to the general public to make up their...
He resides. A man already watching his empire dissolve from the inside of the cell, serving a 50-month sentence following his July 2025 conviction on two-man act counts. His estimated net worth having cratered from $740 million to roughly $400 million, while his own legal teams reportedly go unpaid, staffers walk out, and his business management firm TriStar Sports and Entertainment tightens its grip on a shrinking fortune. Duane Keefe D. Davis is not standing before the court to proclaim his innocence. He is standing there to detonate a carefully constructed bomb. His attorney Michael Pandolo methodically dismantling the prosecution's own logic by forcing a single devastating question into the jury's mind. If the man Davis claims bankrolled the 1996 Las Vegas murder of Tupac Shakur isn't sitting at the defendant's table, does that man truly exist at all? The prosecution's hesitation to charge Combs becomes Davis's most powerful exhibit. His entire defense built not on innocence, but on mutually assured destruction. At the center of that destruction stand a man whose credibility has been fracturing long before this trial began, a man who spent 3 decades rehearsing the same careful performance across every interview and public appearance, casting himself as a peacemaker mourning the East Coast-West Coast war rather than an architect of its bloodshed, never anticipating that one day a cornered gangster facing life in prison would walk into a courtroom, tear that script apart, and dare the most powerful institution in the justice system to prove him wrong. The deeper trap for Combs is that the defense isn't asking him to prove his own innocence. They are asking him to prove that a man currently facing life in prison is a liar, and doing so while personally serving time for federal offenses is a foundation too unstable to build anything credible upon. The prosecution, meanwhile, appears to be treating the entire Combs dimension as a complication they would rather quietly sidestep.
I realized Big was that type of rapper that he could get at somebody, and I think Puff was trying to tell him, don't go that route. You understand what I'm saying? But still putting out songs like Who Shot Ya in the intro, but telling Big not to go at nobody, which was crazy.
They have declined to charge him as a co-conspirator, and the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department has publicly maintained that he has never formally been considered a suspect in the Shakur homicide. But institutional silence is not the same as institutional exoneration, and the defense understands that distinction better than anyone in that courtroom. By keeping Combs at a calculated distance from the proceedings, the prosecution has inadvertently handed Davis's legal team the narrative they needed, because if the state refuses to call Combs to the stand, the defense argues the state has no faith in its own witness, and if the state does call him, they risk cracking open a Pandora's box of conspiracy allegations powerful enough to contaminate the entire trial. Every path the prosecution considers leads directly into exposure, and at the center of that impossible crossroad stands an imprisoned mogul whose silence was once his greatest shield, now rapidly becoming...
As far as, is he going to turn people in? Is he going to cooperate? If the federal government wants him to cooperate and they're going to cut his time, because right now he's looking at 15 to life. With all the charges he had to, he won't get out until 70 years old. He about 70. That's when they start talking about letting him come to a halfway house.
His most dangerous liability. This is where the official narrative begins to buckle under the weight of its own contradictions, bending in directions that court documents and police statements simply cannot straighten out. The defense insists Davis manufactured his most explosive claims for personal profit, pointing to his memoir, Compton Street Legend, as little more than a calculated cash grab dressed up as confession. But that argument collapses the moment you account for the fact that Davis made his most damning allegations during private law enforcement interviews, recorded under circumstances where he had every incentive to protect the powerful men he was naming rather than expose them. The street code that has governed that world for generations operates on a single ironclad principle, and by that principle, voluntarily implicating a billionaire music mogul in a capital murder case doesn't make you famous. It makes you a target. Yet Davis named Combs anyway, in rooms with no cameras, no book deal on the table,